birthday, kids. What time is it?
Hey, it's Edson at GeekTime TV, and I'm finally getting around to Berserker issue number 5. Again, Berserker is published by Boom Studios, written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kindt, with art by Garney, Bill Crabtree with the coloring, and letters by Clem Robbins. And as usual with these reviews, here's your warning that there will be spoilers. So at the end of last issue, we saw that Diana, the doctor, the American doctor working with Berserker, she had showed up unexpectedly at his house, saying that she wanted to tell him the truth. But if you thought that she would reveal some kind of secret plot that the government had been keeping from him, you're probably going to be disappointed, because her truth is that after all these years of trying to figure him out, she's basically out of ideas. She doesn't have any clue what to do next to help him. And they talk for a while. They talk about the relationship between music and love, and then he says something like, "Love, I don't do that anymore," which seems to be like an ominous clue as to what's going to happen in the rest of this issue. So we go back to the next day. Shows up at her lab and sees that she's been working on another piece of machinery that's supposed to help him get at his suppressed memories. And she, gets hooked. Berserker gets hooked up to it, and right away we start going back again, going on a flashback back to thousands of years ago, when Berserker was just right after Berserker had left his destroyed village. And we see he falls in love for the first time. He's been trying to leave behind this cycle of violence and trying to find other things to be part of his life. And he falls in love for the first time, which does bring him real happiness, but it's short-lived. Eventually, the woman he falls in love with gives birth to a baby that looks like it's deformed. The people in her village, obviously surmise that there's something different about Berserker. They wind up killing him in a most painful and bloody way by being drawn and quartered. Of course, he is immortal, so he does eventually come back, and then he discovers that that the baby is dead, and he moves on, and he gets into another relationship. He falls in love again. It looks like that this time the woman dies from childbirth, and apparently so does the baby. But this doesn't stop him from continuing on with having more relationships. But it looks like he's you don't see him trying to have a family anymore. But he does go through like a string of relationships. Not all of them end in some kind of pain and tragedy. Some of them are actually long relationships where he finds real happiness, but eventually they do come to an end, because the problem with being an immortal is that everyone else around you does grow old and die, and with each end to the relationship, he's left alone and devastated, and wondering, why is he different than anybody else? He's no longer leading a life of violence, but then who is he? What is his purpose in life? If it's not to have a family, if it's not to have children, if it's not to have a lasting relationship in which he grows old and dies with somebody, then what is his purpose? Is it always to feel like this, to experience the death of a loved one and left alone? So Ron Garney's art is really great with this. He really shows the pain and trauma through Berserker's facial expressions, his body language. I mean, he looks really haunting every time. he has to say goodbye to another person he loves. And you also see it through the reactions of the other characters as well. You see there's this deep sadness in these people as they say goodbye to him. They here's this person who's capable of such devastating violence and killing, but these people have only shown him kindness and love, and it's like they feel bad for him because they have to leave him, and then he's left alone once more. So eventually, all these memories that he keeps reliving, these traumatic memories of the end to his relationship, his loneliness, saying goodbye to his grief at the people he loves dying. Eventually, that it sends this overload into the machinery, and it explodes, in which makes it look like seemingly it's another failed attempt at trying to figure out, how to, trying to figure out how to help him. And the next thing you know, we see Berserker. He's in a submarine, seemingly on the next mission. He's with American soldiers. He's seemingly on his way to the next mission, and he's obviously not very happy about another failed attempt. But we go back to Diana, and she's observing she's checking out the all the data that she's collected from this experience, and her superior's there, and he says something like, he asks if she got it, and then her reply was, yes, they got it. So once again, we're left with wondering, is Diana really looking out for Berserker's best interest, or is she basically just trying to figure out a way to replicate his amazing abilities and create an army of super soldiers for the government? And we see that hook goes into next issue, and see what is going to be next for a Berserker and for the government. Is the data she got is the data she got going to be the key to figuring out his abilities? And that's it for this issue. It was definitely a departure from the extreme violence we've seen in the previous ones. We see a lot of more a deep dive into the Berserker's emotional and psychological experiences. But I liked it. It's like one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite issues because it did make me emphasize with him as someone who, he just wants to find peace and happiness in his life, and he's unable to do so. So you get a real understanding of why he's so desperate to try to figure out how not to be immortal. It's quite surprising to you have this action-oriented story, and here's this issue exploring the main character's emotional and psychological makeup, and it gives you many new facets into his personality. It makes it's going to make the rest of the story even more interesting, having had this look into his character more deeply. So the last thing I'm going to say is, if you can check out, there's this interview on YouTube. It's only like about maybe 10 minutes with Keanu Reeves talking about how he, his projects. He talks about his latest Matrix movie. He talks about his latest John Wick movie. Of course, he's a very busy guy. And then they ask him about this Berserker project, and you could see it was great to see like the enthusiasm that comes across when he talks about this comic. It's obvious that he's a real comic book fan, and he's trying to write an interesting story. And he also, he makes a point that, having created this, writing about this character who's thousands of years old, this could be, looks like it's going to be the beginning of a franchise that could go on for a long time, because you could basically have stories from every era in human history. And now we know he's got the deal with Netflix to also have a movie and a TV series. So this could be the beginning of something that could go on for quite a while, which is very exciting. So that's it for me. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment on what you think of this issue. And thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up below. Also, please subscribe to GeekTime TV. It really helps us grow the channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon in order to receive notifications every time we drop new content here. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at GeekTimeNet. Thanks again for watching. We will see you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?